when I watch the show, the cinematography for me feels voyeuristic in a way. I feel like I'm peering into these characters as if I were watching a reality show or even a documentary at some points, where I'm just watching these characters do their thing. And I almost feel like I shouldn't be. I feel like I'm seeing something that I really shouldn't be seeing. It's almost too personal in a way sometimes. And I'm curious how you would describe the cinematography. Am I on the right track here with this voyeuristic feel?
I think it threads an interesting line in that, similar to Ozark, I think I wanted to create something that was a little uncomfortable to watch, and Mike's writing is very uncomfortable. So my cinematography and Mike's writing combined is only going to make an audience feel incredibly uncomfortable. So I think the idea of like really leaning into that and leaning into the idea of perspective, because I think there's times in the show that are very subjective. And it's interesting because I've heard that comment multiple times that, we're sort of peering into their lives and it's voyeuristic. And I think that, it very much fluctuates between feeling like a very subjective experience and then being objective and stepping back and feeling like we are voyeuristic and we're watching them and we're watching something that we shouldn't be watching. And I think that's a combination of the camera work. There are very specific choices that we make where we move the camera, we step the camera back and we look through foreground. For example, the end of episode 1, the camera pulls back out of the room and you start to watch this couple have sex, and the camera lingers outside and it goes from, a more subjective in the room experience and slowly pulls back. And so you realize you're outside the room and it stays there for almost a solid minute.
Yeah.
I'm glad that in editing, he kept that shot there much longer than I thought we were going to. But I'm really glad that he did, because it very much sends home that message that we are watching or somebody is watching. Somebody is going to die. So who are we? Whose perspective is this? Is this is this a criminal? Is this us? And we're suddenly watching this couple start to have sex, and it feels like maybe we're intruding. And all these couples all these people are sort of so messy and kind of gross, but then the genius of Mike White is that they are also all of us. He is self-admittedly all of those people, and has behaved in all of those ways. And I think we all have. We've all behaved in ways which we kind of looked at ourselves later and we're sort of like, oh, did I do that? Was I just rude to that waiter?
Yes.
What was, and am I the toxic person in this relationship? You know what I mean? I think all of those sort of questions, Mike is, very self-effacing. If you read interviews with him, he's very much like, yeah, these are, we're all horrible people. And I'm just sort of turning a mirror on you and in the most basic way. But I think the idea of making an audience deeply uncomfortable, and not just to make them uncomfortable, but I think that, we sort of tend to look at uncomfortability as a failure. But I think when you're uncomfortable, you're actually kind of maybe learning the most about yourself and the world through those moments of being uncomfortable and seeing yourself reflected in people that are kind of awful. Maybe those are the moments where you actually reflect on yourself, and maybe you should be nicer to your waiters.